defending their decision to ban a pregnant student from participating in her graduation ceremony next week because she violated the school's abstinence pledge. Pro-life groups argue that the school should instead be praising the teen for the decision that she made, which was not an easy one, to keep her baby. So in moments, we're going to have an exclusive interview with Maddi coming up. She's at the center of all of this. But first, Trace Gallagher tells us the story and the background from our West Coast newsroom tonight. Hi, Trace.
Hi, Martha. Maddi Runkles found out she was pregnant in January, and in February she notified the school. The 18-year-old straight-A student was then told by Heritage Academy that she'd be suspended, removed as student council president, and would finish the school year at home. The Runkles family appealed, and the school finally decided Maddi could finish the year with her 14 classmates, but would not be allowed to walk with them at graduation. The principal issued a statement saying she signed the school pledge, then broke it, adding, quote, "Maddi is being disciplined not because she's pregnant, but because she was immoral." But Maddi thinks she's being punished because her mistake is visible, and she believes the school is missing an opportunity to set an example for the pro-life community. And pro-life groups are now defending her, saying her school is making it more likely that young women will choose abortion over embarrassment. And while Maddi Runkles is gaining support, she has also been called out and criticized on social media by her fellow students and their moms. But she'd be the first to admit it won't be easy. Watch.
I know it's going to be really hard to still accomplish all my goals and all my dreams, but I get to have a little guy following right next to me, and we get to do it together.
Yeah, Maddi's baby boy is due September 4th. Martha.
Trace, thank you very much. So joining me now for an exclusive interview with The Story is 18-year-old Maddi Runkles, joined by the president of pro-life group Students for Life of America, Kristan Hawkins. Welcome to both of you for being here tonight. Maddi, did you ever think you were going to find yourself in the middle of all of this?
No, not at all.
I mean, I know how this happened,
Yeah.
But how did this happen?
Well, after I told my school, the punishment that they gave me was just like a normal punishment that any other kid who has broken the student pledge has received before. I was given an unofficial suspension, and I was taken out of all my leadership positions, and so punishment was done and over with. And then I came back, and they said, okay, in 4 months, you know, you're not going to be able to walk in your graduation. So it was just dragging out my punishment over 6 months because they found out the end of January, and graduation is in June. So I just thought that was way harsh, and it's not like anything any of the other kids who have broken the student pledge have received before.
When you went to them, to your school, and your dad was involved with the school, right? He was on the board at that time. So he notified them, I believe, right? And the first thing that they did, if I understand this correctly, was they wanted to hold an assembly, essentially to publicly shame you.
Yeah, that's how it came off because my principal said that discipline matters are kept between the student, the school, and their family, but then he was there saying that he wanted to publicly announce what I had done. And I told him that if that's going to be the case, then I'm going to tell the students myself. And parents were invited to the assembly, too. It was the whole high school, and some of the parents showed up. And so I told them what I had done.
You stood up there in front of everybody. What did you say?
I wrote a statement up just telling them what had happened, that I'm pregnant, and that I was being sent away from school. And I got up there. My parents were sitting behind me. My brother was sitting in the front row. And I immediately started crying because I was so embarrassed that I had to sit there and admit my mistake when no other kid has ever had to admit what they had done wrong. And my dad read through the statement, the first half, and then he got choked up, and then I finished reading it.
So you stepped in, and you took over.
Yes.
Why, you know, they put out this statement that Trace just showed, and they said, you know, Maddi is being disciplined not because she's pregnant, but because she was immoral. How do you feel about that?
I agree I had to be disciplined. I broke the rules. I had no problem with that. I accepted my consequences, but I never thought that my consequences would be drug out. No kid has ever had consequences drug out like this.
And you've had backlash from other moms and other students? What's that like?
It's horrible.
What have they said about you?
Just nasty things. I need to grow up, keep my mouth shut, take my consequences. I'm 18. And that's not the point. I'm not trying to get my school. I'm not mad that I had to suffer the consequences. It's just the fact that I have been punished over the course of 6 months. And that sends a message to people, you know, you confess, you're going to be made an example of, you're going to be embarrassed. But if you keep it, good job. We're just going to keep turning our heads away.
So take me through the thought process when you found out that you were pregnant. What options did you consider?
Definitely abortion at first because I was so scared. And I'm a Christian. I'm a practicing Christian. And, you know, I knew it was wrong. I knew that I shouldn't be thinking that, but I have seen the way girls like me have been treated, and I didn't want to be that girl.
So you kept the baby, and you were punished, you think, unjustly. Kristan, Students for Life, I know she could have gone to Planned Parenthood, she said, but she felt like they're not empowering to women, which I thought was quite interesting. What do you think about all this?
That's right. I mean, that's the message that Planned Parenthood sends every day to teens across the country, that you're not strong enough to do this. And what's so amazing about Maddi's story was that she was courageous. She went to her parents, told them what happened. She volunteered to speak in front of her entire school.
She's a brave
I mean,
young
how
woman.
many of us would be willing to go and confess our
Terrified.
sins publicly? But what's happening right now, what's so sad about this situation, is that this is a national conversation that's needed to happen a long time ago. But how do Christians handle the sin of premarital sex, but then if a woman gets pregnant,
What
how
about
do
the
we show
mercy and the
grace?
forgiveness part?
Exactly, and that's the question I asked the principal of.
Yeah.
What about grace? What example have you shown to every student in this school? What they have done has told every girl in that school, it's better just have an abortion and cover this
Just
up.
about 10 seconds. What's your biggest concern about what happens after the baby's born?
Just becoming a mom at 18. I'm still growing up myself, and I have no idea what to
You
expect.
have a lot of support from your family, I think.
Yes,
Maddi,
definitely.
thank you very much.